welcome to this class. Hi. It's a keyword for. Today I will show you how to make a leather tunic in a reindeer skin and goat skin. There's no findings on leather clothing from the Viking time. There's a lot of shoe finding, and most of them are very thin skin, almost like my skin on the hand, except for the sole that are quite heavy and rawhide, which means the center part of the shoe are not tanned. So it's a very smart when you have on sharp stones, you don't get it up. It protects your feet. But for skin clothing, those shoe materials, especially from Haitebo, sometimes has weird seams that have no function and not are decorative. And I'm thinking maybe that's a reuse of a tunic worn out. And I'm sure I'm convinced they had skin clothing, all of them. They would not survive without. Some people say if you treat the wool with the right treatment, it will be enough on open sea. I am sure they have not been weeks on open seas, people saying that. And also we have a living tradition almost along the Norwegian coast, I'm sure, and in Fair Islands and Iceland, and on leather tunics and trousers to under the knee or even longer. And they were used up to 2050, where you start using first linen that was soaked in beeswax or oil, so some sort of oil to make it windproof also. But back then we know they eat it. We know they eat goat and had a lot. Of course, they use the skin. The tougher skin they would use for frames, wood frame, for harnish, the thing that needed strong. That's ox skin. But deer, as me, reindeer, goat is a super strong skin for this. I sew with the goat skin and I cut out the pieces in reindeer skin, which is easy to make quite waterproof. And I always use vegetable tanned skin. Back then they would have tanned it with bark. The process is very nice to work with. I try to get skin directly from the slaughterhouse so they're still warm, and then I take all the skin, the fat and the blood and the meat from the backside off. And then I want the hair to be removed, and it's very simple. I put it in the river, but there's a stream, depending on the temperature, about 10 days, 7 to 10 days. Then you can take the hair off with your thumb, or I use a horn. The open end of the horn I use to clean the skin. And after that, I boil up bark that I take out from young trees because it's easiest and because there's many of them. You can use, in the beginning, you don't have to boil it, you can just soak the bark, especially I use willow bark. You can use all kinds of bark, but willow also is good for clothing because it makes the skin also softer. The Sami people still use that. And then to start a slowly tanning, you can put it in cold bark, vat, where it's just soaked in. And then after that you cook it and you get this tannin out, like the acid there are in tea or lauted red wine. And then for reindeer, it's also 10 days if it's a thin young deer, and up to 3-4 weeks if it's a heavier skin. And then you work with it physically. The more you work with it, the nicer skin you get. And then you have a tunic, like forever. Of course they use it with thin wool under it, for instance, by this, maybe not as nice as this, but thin layer of wool, and this waterproof outside, you can smile, even on the open sea. It has saved me on many markets. I have a dress and a coat in the skin, reindeer skin, and it's just different between this and smiling. So I also use the patterns or the idea they use in Faroe Islands and in Lofoten when I construct the pattern. And that is, of course, since it's meant to be waterproof, you do not want to have a seam up here or like here. You can have the seam here. I will make one later with that, but today I will make a cut over one piece, one skin to here, one skin there, and then skin under from here down. So when you make the pattern, you are a little in the wrong place right now, sweetheart. Hop ned. Hop ned. You see here I made the pattern. This is perfect size, and of course I make the leather tunic a little bit, just an inch bigger, so we can have a woolen thing under. And this is half of the upper body from here to there. And I cut the whole piece, so I will find a skin that matches that. And here you can see I made this extra flap. It's because I want to make an opening, like a little like Viborg. But again, we don't know if they have that in skin, but it's very practical. You can just draw in this place. And also, because skin is a little stiffer, at least in the beginning, than wool, and it's a typical working outfit, then I always make it 2 centimeters bigger in the back, because you're not standing like this, but you are standing and you stand. So my piece up here in the neck is 2 centimeters wider, and then it goes down 0 here. I will put out a pattern also, but you can easily make it out from an old or from a tunic. And here, so from here and down, it is this piece. And it will have seams somewhere. So you can, depending on your skin, you can have a seam here in the middle and the side, whatever you like. It's just to use the skin. And I do not cut off the skin in the bottom. I don't see any reason to do it. So I cut, for instance, this. Here I will have to add one more. So I will put it out to there, cut. And then I will leave this as it is. I do not cut it, modern thinking. But you see here I have to have more than one skin for this. So here I will cut here, there. And then I will take this one piece to the next. So just to make sure I have the skin I use all the way around. Actually, I like if there's only a corner missing, because then I add that corner. I think it's beautiful and it gives life to the dress. And there will often be that on men's. If a man is more than 180, it will often be too short, a reindeer at least. So I'll have an extra piece here, and it's always beautiful. So be creative. So now I will cut out the skin first. This seems quite long, so I will use that for a sleeve. This is not big enough for this. No. So And as with fabric, I have 1 centimeter seam allowance. But I don't cut down here. I just leave it as it is. I will add the link to where you can order reindeer vegetable tent. You really should stay away from non-vegetable. For instance, chrome is the most common tanning method for skin today. And stay away from it, please. It's pollution like shit, sorry. And it feels like you get rubber on your skin because it cannot breathe. Vegetable tans is one, authentic, but it's also comfortable to wear. I know many who has bought those cheaper skin from leftovers from the car industry, for instance. And they cost quite a lot anyway, but they don't use them. They are sold again or placed in the bottom of a closet because they're not comfortable. You sweat in them. These you can breathe in. So ask for that. And you can get these skin in Norway, of course. I'm sure you can get them other places too. And reindeer is so, you see, it's so thin and smooth and nice to work with. It's a pleasure to work with. Skin like this, you can make the upper part of shoes too. I'll show you later someday. It's a beautiful day. Almost one piece done. Is this big? Nope. Yeah. I also used to take the neckline in the back a little further up since it is a raincoat. don't hem skin. Don't bend in the skin. So I have no seam allowance here. Swan. I think much more reenactor from Iron Age should wear skin. And soon there will come out a new movie with Viking clothing in it for a change, called The Northman. And in that there's quite some outfit in Norwegian reindeer skin. And it looks so good on men, I think. On women too, for sure. Goat skin are small, and they are very, very strong and very dense in the structure, and you can make them so soft and nice as you just want to. This tunic I want to sew together with 3mm wide leather thongs. So I think the easiest way to cut it out is to cut it. You can also, of course, use a scissor. And you will need a lot. They are quite, I don't know if you can. You cannot. They're strong. In the new Viking movie that will come hopefully this year, The Northman, you'll see a lot of skin wear, which I love, of course. On a lot of open sea. I think it's under priority in the Viking market and reenactment world. Many more should wear skin. So this is my challenge to you. I think much more reenactor from Iron Age should wear skin. And soon there will come out a new movie with Viking clothing in it for a change, called The Northman. And in that there's quite some outfit in Norwegian reindeer skin. And it looks so good on men, I think. On women too, for sure. Unfortunately, skin leather disappears very, very quickly in the ground. And of course the Viking did not bury themselves in the working man's clothing, so we don't find anything. And when they were worn out, the Viking, the skin clothing, it would be reused for bags and purses and other purposes, for sure. So, no findings till now. So, enough for now.